Okay, so we have removed the single 100 amp solar panel from the roof of the Little Guy Max trailer, and we have a number of screw holes here that we're going to have to seal up, even one underneath the air conditioner there. But over here we've unplugged the original solar connection, and we're going to be removing those that little wire, those wires, because the solar is only on this 2018 is only wired with 12 gauge wire, which we need 10 gauge wire. So what we're going to do is we took the vent cover off and we're going to drill a hole around here, and that way we can run this 10 gauge wire down through to the basically to underneath the area underneath the air refrigerator where the drawer is, and then we're going to splice onto 8 gauge wire for the long run to the battery area, and that should keep us from having the least voltage drop. So we will get on with that and show you what we're doing.
We brought the solar wire down. We brought the solar wire down there through by the vent pipe.
Okay, then we ran it up next to the vent pipe on the, we opened this bottom refrigerator vent and we fed it right up there next to the propane line. And then on the top vent, it's basically open, and we fed it up next to the pipe. And then on the roof, we drilled a hole, and we actually fed the whole thing, this 10 gauge wire, all the way down to underneath the refrigerator for our ultimate connection. Okay, Randy opted to go with these BougeRV flexible CIGS panels. Each one is 200 watts, and they already have tape on them to stick them to the roof, so they're really good for Little Guy Max trailers. But the even better thing is they're actually a new technology where each cell is like wired in parallel. So even if this gets like three quarters shaded, it's still producing power, which is great to have on a camper when you want to park. You know, sometimes you're going to be in a little bit of shade, so you can count on these panels to continue to produce power, even if they're a little bit shaded. So that's cool. So we are going to put these on her Little Guy Max trailer and see how they work.
Snuck up on me.
Are you videoing? Does that look good?
Yep.
Okay, so okay, so I attached, I put the connectors on the ends of this wire, and then I put what's called a branch connector, so I can hook 2 positives and 2 negatives, because we're wiring these panels in parallel. So this is all ready, and you can see it's going to easily plug in. These just have, you know, they have the right connectors on them, so now it's plug and play. But now we need to go hook up the solar controller, because once we plug it in, it'll have voltage. and I don't want to work on a system with voltage. So we'll get all it hooked up down at the controller, and then we'll come back up and plug it in. Alright, so this is very easy. This is the red wire with the branch connector. I just plugged the solar panel positives into that one, and then this side is the negative, and the solar panel leads are marked, so I plugged the two negatives into that. So now we're hooked up and producing power when we turn on our switch and our circuit breakers. But first, before I come down, I want to use some Eternabond tape and tidy up how these wires are here, so you don't worry about them flopping around or getting on the panels. So I will do my Eternabond organization, and we'll be done. We'll be off the roof. All right, and here's our beautiful new BougeRV CIGS 200 watt solar panels. Each one is 200 watts, so that's a total of 400 watts. And these panels are a new design where basically each cell is in parallel. So these panels will actually produce power in, like if they're like 3/4 shaded. And I don't know, you know, how familiar you are with solar panels, but like the solar panel that was on your little guy Max trailer before, I mean, if you just put your finger on it to shade it, it would go zero. It wouldn't produce anything.
Oh my gosh.
So the fact that these can produce power in, you know, the shade or some shade, to me is a game changer, because, you know, of course you don't want to always park in a canopy of trees whenever, you know, you're camping. So, you know, like in this setting, you have some you know, open sky, so you're going to get some solar power production if you needed it, to keep your batteries charged, you know, even though they're slightly shaded. So, I mean, that's, you know, I just think that's, you know, a big benefit with this CIGS, new CIGS technology, and BougeRV really has created a high quality panel with that technology. And it looks great. I mean, these are each 200 watts, and it fits perfectly between your molding and your stargazer window. And I think they look great.
Oh, they're beautiful.
I mean, it turned out way better, you know, than I even could have imagined. And it wasn't very hard to put on. I mean, those panels come with the tape, you know, they're already pre-taped. So all you have to do is clean the roof really well and, you know, stick them on. I mean, it really can't be easier. So I'm glad you guys decided to go with those. Because I think, you know, they're definitely worth the investment. They are more expensive, but like I said, they're worth the investment with ease, and the fact that you're going to have power even when you're in shady conditions, you know, so that's going to, you know, be a game changer for you, just to be able to, you know, get more solar power now than what you had before.
Oh, I agree. I think they look gorgeous. I think it really jazzes the camper up and looks kind of sporty.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, yeah, I think it turned out better than we ever even thought it could imagine.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, so we took the trim off of this panel here, and as you can see the light shining down there in the bottom.
Oh yeah.
See it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so what that means is where the light is, that hole underneath is open and comes out down there.
Sandy put everything back together. Everything looks so nice. And she installed our Xantrex monitor.
All right, so now we're going to turn the solar on. So the first thing we want to do is connect it to the battery. So I turn the circuit breaker on, and you can see there's a little blue light flashing. I don't know if you can see it. It's very slow.
Oh, right down there. I'll get it. Let's see, right there.
Okay, so that means it's on, and now we will turn the solar panels. Let's see, where is the switch? Which way does it go? That way? Okay. Oh, and now the blue light is solid. Okay, so that's working. Now we need to do the settings. All right, so Randi connected to her new Hughes Watchdog Surge Protector, and that's what the app screen readout looks like. And then if you look down here at the Watchdog, when the power is good, the Watchdog is lit up. So we got that's going. So I'm going to get on with putting a wire loom around this and hooking it all up nice and tidy, so it doesn't risk, any kind of road debris damage as the years go by. Okay, so I really couldn't do anything with that, the way the wires come out of the hole, but they're all double covered, so they have thick casing, so that'll be fine, and they're all up there and secure. So then here is where I put the corrugated material, and then that's all done, and now I'm continuing on. Okay, so I got all that done, and back around to there, so this whole under area is done here. Now I just have to carry on along the frame and to where it goes up into the floor. Underneath the refrigerator. Okay, so here's back from where that wire came across, over under the sewer pipe, through this wall, and under the floor. It's all covered up, secure, and ready for travel.
It would be really nice if we could just start with one component. Okay, this is the battery, and then talk about it, and then we'll go to this.
Well, why don't we get that as you come
okay,
in?
okay.
Then we can explain this.
All right, okay.
All right, so here are our two Xantrex batteries. Each one is 240 amp hours. Here's these fabulous little on-off buttons, and you have the lights that give you an indication of how well they're charged, but also that they're on. And so, if we were to turn it off, the lights would go off. So that's a really nice feature. And look at how heavy this is. I mean, this is all metal. I mean, Xantrex has put an amazing amount of investment in making excellent lithium batteries. They even have what's called RVC or CAN bus, where you can hook this into other systems and have it like a Firefly, or have it controlled, from a central location. So I mean, these batteries are super capable and give you lots of options. Then on this side, I installed a separate switch for just the house battery power, and a separate switch for just the inverter to battery connection. So we always, using these two switches will cut all the power off from the coach and the inverter off of these batteries, so there won't be any parasitic loads when she puts it in storage and parks, and so then she can just leave this on because nothing's going to drain it down. Then up here, these are your solar panel and solar controller switches. So this one is an actual switch that you can turn your disconnect the solar panel power from the Victron solar controller. And this is a circuit breaker, because you have to have a circuit breaker on the output of the solar controller to the battery, which I made a mistake there. I was tired yesterday. So anyway, this controls the power from the solar controller to the battery. And here's a little warning label that I made for Randi. You must disconnect solar panel power anytime you're going to think about turning these batteries off or disconnecting the batteries, because the batteries are where the power needs to be stored.
So if you don't turn the solar panel power off and you were to turn these batteries off, then that power just gets dumped on the solar controller, and it's not made for that. It can actually burn up. So I put a little warning note here so she always remembers when she's going to do anything with these batteries, flip this switch off, because you don't want anything to happen to your solar controller. All right, so here's her control, basically her battery and inverter and solar control panel area. And then this is what I call the jewelry box of the little guy Max trailer. We've got these two beautiful Xantrex lithium 240 amp hour batteries. We've got that matching. Notice how Xantrex matches their inverter with their batteries. I mean, that's beautiful. I love it. There's the 3000 watt Xantrex. It's a 3000 watt Xantrex Freedom XC Pro inverter. So it's your 3000 watt inverter, plus it has a 150 amp battery charger. So if you were plugged into shore power and you needed to charge these batteries up fast, you can set that to 150 amps and be fully charged in under 3 hours. So then we have the Victron solar controller, the MPPT 100-30. So that's 100 amps or 100 volt max with a 30 amp volt max output. Which, like I said, her 400 watts of solar will put out just a little bit over 27 amps, so that's good margin. And then this big boy right here is the Victron Lynx Power In, and it's a very heavy bus bar system, but I like it because it's so compact. I mean, when you're doing these installs, you have to have bus bars for the positive and negative connections. So you either buy a whole bunch of little bus bars and they're screwed in the wall all over the place, and it doesn't look very organized, or you can buy this really nice, and it's about the same price, which is amazing. So for about the same price as buying separate little parts, bus bar parts, you can just buy this nice one system. And it has the ability for fuse holders, so you can do all your fusing right inside. You've got all your negative and positive connections. I mean, it's just a super nice, organized way to do your electrical upgrades. So I always use it. I love it. Okay, so I think that's everything in the jewelry box.
It's so pretty.
All right, so then we come over here. Okay, so here we are. The first thing is this is the WFCO 8930/50. So as I said, it has two. This is the demarcation. So you have one, this is the inverted bus, and this is the shore power bus. And you can see all the breakers are labeled. So on shore power, we've got the shore power 30 amp incoming breaker. Then we've got the takeoff breaker that feeds the input to the Xantrex inverter, and then here's her water heater breaker, because we don't want that. We didn't need that to be on the inverted breaker. And then on the inverted side, we have the inverter output 30 amp breaker feeding this bus. And then we have her front outlets, her rear outlets, her air conditioner, and microwave. All that is powered directly from the batteries. So that's when she's not on shore power. So that's what she can use when she goes boondocking. And then we just moved her fuses, her 12 volt connections that were on the old fuse panel. We moved those, and so we have this nice, lovely looking. And see, it's not a lot bigger than your old one, so that fit perfectly. And then inside, we've got all the okay, we've got all the wiring, but one of the important features we added is this watchdog surge protector. You can see it lit up there. This surge protector is Bluetooth, so Randi no longer needs to have that surge protector dangling from the power pedestal out there. She just plugs in her cord. You know, she's only got her cord now to deal with. And this protects the power that's coming from any shore power connection. It evaluates it to make sure it's good enough to come in here to the trailer and power the things you use in the trailer. And if it doesn't like that, then the dog face turns red and says, you know, something's wrong with the power. We're not letting it in. So then you call up the app. Their app is great. It tells you what's going on. You can look into the condition, and if you clear the condition, it gives you a little button that says reset. It'll reset itself and let the power through if it's good. So that's a great addition. And then let's see what I think. Oh, down here where all that foam is, that's where we brought all the solar wires, the new inverter in and out wires. What else did we run here? I ran a new ground for the breaker box because I want a nice heavy ground for the bare wire ground in the breaker box. The cord. There's a phone cord there for the Xantrex remote display. We brought all that in. The solar, you can see the solar back there is going up through the vent pipe. So we brought the solar wire. All we had to do was drill one small hole next to the vent pipe to run that solar wire down here for the new solar. And then it was very easy to, put the vent cover back on and seal it all up with die-core to have a good seal. So, that all was, really very straightforward. And so here's her under the refrigerator area. Okay, so we also replaced the Xamp solar controller that was there on the wall with this Xantrex Bluetooth. This is the part that makes the Bluetooth feature for the Xantrex inverter. So we installed that in the place of the Xamp solar controller. I had to do a little sawing, but these panels are thin, so it was very easy to install it there. As I said, we ran the phone cord, and the phone cord just basically runs underneath, and you can get to it right on the other side. On this side, we did have to remove this trim and pop this panel open so we could get to that wire and pull it up there. But as you can see, it was very easy to put it all back together with a little nail gun that I had, and looks like original, which is what we want. Okay. All right, and here's our beautiful new BougeRV CIGS 200 watt solar panels. Each one is 200 watts, so that's a total of 400 watts. That you're going to have power even when you're in shady conditions, so that's going to be a game changer for you, just to be able to you get more solar power now than what you had before.
Oh, I agree. I think they look gorgeous. I think it really jazzes the camper up and looks kind of sporty.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, yeah, I think it turned out better than we ever even thought it could imagine.
Yep, I agree.